half of it out.
Okay, stand by. Here we go. The Women in Business Show, brought to you by Promo Experts. Promo Experts is a one-stop, full-service marketing company. They can help you get noticed with top-notch creative graphic design, marketing strategy, video production, digital marketing, and promotional products to move you forward. Okay, audience, here's your host of the Women in Business Show, Diane Carson.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the show. My name is Diane Carson, and I am the host of the Women in Business Show on KWRH 92.9 FM and KXOK 102.9 FM, and the owner of Promo Experts, a marketing, public relations, and promotional distribution company. This show airs on KWRH 92.9 FM and KXOK 102.9 FM on Sunday at noon and streams daily the following week at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. on My Genre Radio through Zeno FM. Each week, we interview a successful business owner or an expert who can provide advice to our women business owner listeners, providing them insight into their business to women who are just starting a business, thinking about leaving their corporate jobs to enter the world of entrepreneurship, or who want to move their business or professional or personal life to the next level. We hope you will gain at least one good nugget that you can put into practice in your business or personal life immediately. Today, our topic is how to retire like the 2%, and we'll get into that later. And we're talking with tax-free retirement strategist, which that sounds amazing, Carmen Hornberger, the owner of Benefits to Go. Here's a short background on Carmen. Carmen Hornberger is the accomplished owner of Benefits to Go, a highly reputable employee benefits consulting firm based in the United States. With over 2 decades of experience in the industry, Carmen has gained extensive knowledge and expertise in various areas of employee benefits, including healthcare, retirement plans, and other ancillary benefits. Carmen is highly regarded for her commitment to providing exceptional customer service and her ability to deliver customized solutions to meet her clients' unique needs. Through her leadership, Benefits to Go has become a trusted partner to businesses of all sizes, providing comprehensive and cost-effective employee benefits solutions. Carmen's dedication to her clients and her industry has earned her numerous accolades and awards, including recognition as one of the top benefits consultants in the country. Before we chat with Carmen, here's what she says about her why. I took an early buyout in 2016 from a Fortune 100 financial services firm located in St. Louis. When I left, I held several positions in IT, banking, and hedge fund analysis. I started Benefits to Go, LLC, because self-employed women had no voice. They are responsible for solely paying 100% of their own benefits and saving for their retirement plans without the help of a corporation. I've always felt the need to cater to business owners because I witnessed my mother and other single mothers being afraid to take vacations or even get sick because they knew their families would not be provided there. I've been there. Today, her goal is to create 1,000 tax-free retirement plans for women each year so they won't have to be burdened with a fear, a disability, getting sick, paying for college, or not taking a vacation. I will offer women fair competitive pricing on all the benefits they need to run their businesses successfully. In addition, Carmen wants every client to enjoy 15 to 35 years of tax-free income. That sounds great. I'd love to hear more about that. So let's welcome Carmen to the show.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Diane.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
I was so thrilled to have someone with such a great background. I'm sure a lot of the listeners out there are going to learn a lot today. So why are you so passionate about it, what you do?
Well, I'm so passionate about what I do, just simply because of what I had in my bio. My father died when I was very, very young. So unfortunately, my mother had to raise two children. She did. She did very, very well. As a matter of fact, my father did very well before he passed. So I was raised by um, two excellent entrepreneurs. But basically, I saw her. Uh, I just saw her just emotionally, just suffer in, just needless ways, all due to, the lack of financial um, education and just things that, she just didn't have, right? We just really didn't have brokers coming, like coming to the house back then. And if you really weren't a type of affluent, client, you really didn't get that type of
Right.
personalized service.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how long have you been helping women?
Gosh, for I guess off and on now since about 2009, maybe
Wow.
2000. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
That is a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. So why do you think women are behind in their personal retirement goals?
Well, I think it's more so I think it's the awareness, right? If you really don't know exactly what other options are out here to invest in, you pretty much are stuck in putting all your eggs in one basket,
Mhm.
and that's what I want to alleviate the just the burden of just picking just one investment
Okay.
solely for retirement purposes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you suggest that people, or the women in particular, spread it amongst different programs, or
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. I mean, right. I mean, well, diversification is key,
okay.
right? And so I think more so, which alludes to why women are behind is the awareness, and then right once you pretty much know, right? I mean, I've got to start. I've got to start doing something
Right.
because my average client is anywhere between the age of 40 and 55.
Okay.
So this age bracket is really, knuckle down. They've got to do something. I think that they're aware.
Mhm.
The majority of the women that I talk to, they are aware, right, that they have to do something.
Mhm.
They just don't know where to put their money
Right.
in it, in what type of sound vehicle.
So they're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel,
Right,
and they
exactly.
realize if they haven't, so what age do you suggest women or anybody really starts to think about retirement, saving for retirement?
Well, obviously you need to start saving as soon as you humanly possibly can, right? I mean, we typically don't, but I mean, I've seen these numbers for the past 17 years, and people typically start the awareness of, really that they have to start saving in a 401k at around the age of 30 to 35.
Mhm.
That's when they start.
Right.
Mhm.
And-
Now, do they stay disciplined with it and, don't take any withdrawals and things and really understand, compound interest? No.
Mm.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you think that that's something that should be trained at a younger age, or I mean, why is that?
Well, I mean, right. I mean, you know that the schools are only
Right.
right. I mean, because I pay a lot of
Mhm.
tuition, but that tuition is not necessarily based upon helping you be a effective businesswoman or businessman.
Mhm.
Teaching you about
Right.
How to actively manage your money and
Right.
increasing your financial
Right.
IQ.
Yeah.
I don't want to name names, right? But I almost said one. But yeah,
Okay.
these high institutional private schools, they
Right.
don't teach what they.
Right. Actually,
what they
my
should, yeah.
daughter-in-law is a teacher, and
Mhm.
she actually teaches STEM at the high school level.
Yeah.
And she started a life class.
Mhm.
And when she started to teach it, she was teaching them how to handle checkbooks
Mhm.
and credit card accounts
Mhm.
and things like that.
Mhm.
And they couldn't believe her when she said you have to pay some money to the government. That when you're paid,
Right.
you don't get to keep it all. And they're like, what?
Exactly.
You mean,
It's called FICA.
I
Like, really? Who is this guy?
you mean we don't
Right.
get it all?
Mhm.
Yeah, but none of them knew.
Right.
She was blown
Absolutely.
away.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Mhm.
it's amazing. So I guess your target market women between 40 and 50, or
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
pretty much who I grew up around. That's who I understand. No offense to the males out here. I'm sure you're married to some beautiful women, and I'd love to help them. That's what I say to all the males. So
I
yes,
think
the women
some
is
people,
my target market.
some
Yes.
people say women are better money managers. So
Mhm.
sorry, Mark.
Mhm.
So what kind of women usually seek out your help? So I guess the ones we just spoke about, the ones that are they divorced? Are they widowed? Or
Typically, all all walks of life, but from a financial background, typically women that make anywhere above 70,000,
Okay.
and they're it doesn't matter if they're single, divorced, they're from all walks of life,
Okay.
and self-employed and business owners that have employees.
Okay. So
Mhm.
primarily business owners, you think? Or, okay.
No, it's just a broad,
Just
it's just a broad
okay.
spectrum. Mhm.
It's anybody who just needs help,
With their
figuring out-
retirement. Yeah,
Right.
my specialization is retirement plans, and I
Okay.
do. Yep.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
what makes you different than anybody else, than another advisor?
That's a good question. I think because I understand women, right? I was raised primarily, all just my life and my adulthood by a woman. My mother had sisters, and so I've always been around women, and I understand the struggles that women have,
Mhm.
right, with their children, with anything that they may be struggling with, just emotionally.
Mhm.
It's just a lot, right?
Right.
And so I understand those burdens, and then at the end of the day, right, they still have to try to figure out, how to retire with $300,000 or $400,000 worth of income.
Mhm.
So where I come in is I just put the pieces together
Mhm.
and basically let them know that somebody actually cares and understands about what it is that they're going through. No matter if it's a divorce or just a hard-headed child that just won't listen, right?
Right.
I've been there, done that.
Me
I've
too.
listened to so many stories, right?
Right.
So I think I'm more of a consultant, tax-free retirement consultant, and more of a friend.
Mhm.
I don't want to call myself a therapist, but
Right.
I do understand.
So you
And that-
relate to what they're going through.
Absolutely,
Empathetic. Yeah.
absolutely. And everybody feels,
Right.
sincerity,
Right.
when
Yeah.
they're, like when it's real.
Right. And then some women
Mhm.
just feel more comfortable discussing money things with, money matters with another woman too.
Absolutely.
So I could see that.
Mhm.
So what type of fees are associated with what you do?
I do not charge
Really?
fees. I do not
Okay.
fees. I do
Interesting.
not charge fees. That's another thing that makes me unique.
Okay.
Not only can I relate to the woman, I make her open up and
Mhm.
make her trust me, right?
Right.
We all, shouldn't,
Right.
I don't make her feel bad about her, about the mistakes.
Mhm.
That's it. That's
Right.
mainly
Right.
the thing,
So when
the
they
blame,
do
the
good, you
burden.
do good? Is that how it is? How it works?
Well, no. What I tell women is that my fee for service, right, with everything that I do and tracking the market and the index, how you repay me is just by sending me to another woman that I can help,
Really?
that's going through the same, trauma and, financial, burdens,
Okay.
that you're going through.
Okay. Wow.
Mhm.
That's great. So what are the strategies that are not talked about openly more often?
The strategies, I think, that women need to know more about, especially the women that I'm talking to, is the difference between taxable income and non-taxable income.
Right.
I'm not going to get a lot into that on the show, but it's a lot, right? So they have to understand that the vehicle that the majority of the masses are investing in, which is qualified plans. A lot of my women, they don't understand how that taxation actually works. They don't understand, how much it is and how much they're going to be on. They don't understand how much taxation on the back end that they're going to be burdened with,
Mhm.
right? Because they don't understand the tax deferral,
Mhm.
right? That's the pretty much the whole benefit to the qualified plan. So that's the taxable income.
Okay.
And so what I do is I teach another sector, which is non-taxable income,
Okay.
right? So this is the other side, because wealthy people or people that make, the 2% that make over 130 or 160, they don't invest in qualified plans,
Okay.
right? They diversify and put, their gross income in their, in other vehicles. Not all of their income, but maybe 25 to 30% of their gross income.
Okay.
They put it in non-taxable vehicles that grow for them on that grow for them on not only a tax deferred, but on a compound interest growth
Okay. So they
type method.
but they tie it up. Do they tie it up for a while, or can they get to it if they need it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if they
So my-
say they
mhm.
purchase a bond and they, you know,
Mhm.
you can't, I mean, because I've had bonds and they,
Right.
and they, they only mature after so many years
Mhm, mhm.
and you can't touch them until they mature. So,
Absolutely. This is not that.
okay.
So what I specialize in is tax-free, non-defer. I'm sorry. I specialize in tax-free vehicles. So the income that is created in my vehicles is all tax-free.
Okay.
So right. So and it's based off an index or a compound interest rate.
Okay.
Okay. So you really don't have to. As soon as the account starts earning money or interest, so to speak,
Mhm.
is when that money is available to, you know, either for a withdrawal, right? Which I
Right.
really don't like recommend,
But Roth, you don't- okay.
but the money is there. I'm sorry, for a withdrawal,
Oh, okay.
not a Roth.
Okay.
A-
Okay.
A Roth, though, now
Yeah.
that you're talking about it, is
Right.
another type of non-taxable income.
Right.
I just don't necessarily sell those.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah.
So you don't recommend a Roth, or I mean, what?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of my clients have Roths, right?
Right.
The only difference between my product and a Roth is that it doesn't give your families guaranteed income
Okay.
in the event that you pass away.
Right.
So you can't really do a lot of estate planning with a Roth because that money
Because it is
inside.
what it is. Well, it's there, and then it's
I mean, well, more so though, right? The money inside of the Roth is tied to the market.
right.
So the money in the Roth, it just doesn't grow from,
Okay.
right? It has to
Right.
grow,
Right. Right.
right? So the only risk to,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yes,
Yeah, right,
exactly. So the
right.
only risk again
Mhm.
to the Roth, now we're back at how do we manage the money inside of the Roth? And what do we put inside the Roth to make the vehicle grow? Because we
Okay.
still have to retire from it, right?
Right. Right.
And so all of that is still managed
Mhm.
within the market.
Okay.
So I take that confusion out
Okay.
for my ladies, for my clients, and I help put them. I still give them a steady compounded growth of
Mhm.
retirement,
Right.
but without having to worry about the market
Right.
losses.
Yeah. Yeah. Because as we've seen lately, that's
Absolutely.
happening a lot. So,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I always say that, you don't have it until it's only on paper until you need to use it.
Absolutely.
Once you need it,
Mhm.
then you have to go try to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with the current market conditions, here we go, because we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to secure your retirement funds in an account that is not affected by market fluctuations? We just kind of covered that a little bit, though.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
is extremely important, and that's the reason why I'm needed, right? That's the
Right.
reason why I have a job, because every woman that I pretty much talks to has no, they don't, they know that there's something else, out there. They see that their account is tanking, but they just don't know what to do to pull back the reins to stop the bleeding, so to speak.
Right. And I guess until they retire, though, there's really no concern until they need to use it, right? I
What do you
mean,
mean?
well, I guess if you had I guess I'm thinking of traditional IRAs and things. I guess until you come to use that IRA, then you just kind of ignore it. You're told to sit tight, let it just,
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what,
Right.
and that's the problem.
right.
And that's what's happened to the women and the clientele that I service.
Okay.
They're told by, these big financial advisors and firms,
Right.
to just hold their money
Right.
in the market. So either I have two types of clientele. So either they're already retired
Uh-huh.
and they're with investment firms
Right.
and they're watching their money tank.
Right.
It's the same effect.
Yeah.
Or right, exactly. Exactly. Or they work for corporations
Mm.
and their money is tied up.
hmm
And the only way that they can effectively take their money out of the market and save it,
hmm
now check this out, is if they leave that corporation.
Right. Yeah.
Now that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or if they work in a state to where they can take maybe, a portion of their retirement out while they still work for that corporation
Mhm.
and then invest it other,
Mhm.
in places, with me,
hmm
so I can help stop that bleeding.
Mm.
But
Okay.
that's neither there though. So
Yeah, because
that's-
I think I had a situation where I had to leave 5% there, and I couldn't get it
ridiculous.
for like 5 years, I think, something like that.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that which is pretty typical.
it's pretty
So,
ridiculous.
well, yeah.
And
I
it's
thought
not.
so at the time, yeah, because I
Mhm,
could have
yeah,
used it.
mhm, exactly.
So I guess, why do people not know about this?
Can I just be quite frank on your show?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, this this whole retirement phenomena was all a buzzword. It's all created, right?
Right.
So we were just talking about your 99, God bless him, your 99-year-old father
Mhm.
who is in another who's in another country,
Mhm.
and I bet you that he never heard about the word retire. When you stop working is just when you stop working. It doesn't mean that you're retired, right? So the whole ERISA,
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
Retirement Act of
he,
1974,
right.
all of that, right?
Mhm.
The whole taxation,
Mhm.
up to 60%, 40% on every withdrawal, another 10% if you're 59 and a half. Who
Mhm.
created that? I think they were
Right.
just sitting around in a smoking jacket one day, and one of them said, "Oh, 60." I said, "No, that doesn't make any sense." Another one said, "Well, 58." No, that's not confusing enough, right? So this whole 59 and a half, it's all a scam. It's no rhyme or reason for it, right? If
Mhm.
your birthday is born in December,
Yeah.
right, and you go to take half your money out in
Right.
May, gotcha, right? You owe me another 50.
Right.
It's absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah.
I've worked on the banking and the brokerage side. I've seen it right down the middle.
Mhm.
I've worked for risk, and then safety,
Mhm.
banking,
Mhm.
and so what I provide is right down the middle.
Mhm. Yeah,
know?
I think he lucked out because he actually had two pension plans, which people don't
Absolutely.
even have anymore.
Yeah, they don't even, which is
No,
a year of service
no.
plan. That's just, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's still taxable, but at
Yes.
least it's extra money that you can use
right
on top of Social
right,
Security.
Right. Yeah. So he's lucky that he's
Mhm.
able to live on his two pension plans. And
Absolutely.
so one of them actually goes into an investment fund. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So
Good.
he did okay,
Mhm.
but the rest of us, we can't rely on those.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's with a company
Mhm.
long enough anymore,
Mhm.
and those pension plans have sort of they've disappeared. So you're right. We are 100%
Yeah.
responsible for our own own investments.
Yeah.
So when somebody works with you, walk me through the process. So what do they
Mhm.
do? They come to you and they say, I need help. I'm got a
Mhm.
401k. The
Mhm.
market's down.
Yeah, it's usually a woman in two particular situations, right? Um either she is between that age group, 40 to 55, and she's looking at her 401k plan, and she's not quite where she needs to be.
Mhm.
So I come in, and with my plan, I help her get caught up with her retirement plan.
Okay.
So on that end, I'm usually able to create at least $250,000 of tax-free income
Wow.
for a woman if she's in between that age.
Okay.
Based up off a certain dollar amount. I mean, obviously, right?
Right.
And this is what I do is long-term, investing is, I'm saying I don't promise any get rich quick schemes. This is a long-term investment. I tell women if they don't have at least 10 years, to save. Doesn't really matter how old you are, right? Because I have self-employed women, they're 60, they save with me. But if you don't have at least 10 years to save for your retirement, then that's not the right plan for you. And then another group of women that I have that I service are women that have already worked in the workplace, for at least 15 or 20 or 30 years sometimes, and they just need a place to actually conserve and grow their income.
Okay. So what type of return should your account see? I think you probably pretty much covered that, but
Well, yeah, the returns are going to be somewhere on an average of what the S&P index returns.
okay.
So that's basically what I follow. I follow an indexing model.
Okay. And so, and you've done this for over 20 years. Wow. That's, yeah. So have you
Almost.
seen a huge change in that time, or everything?
It's cyclical.
It's about the same,
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. This
Yeah.
this stuff just repeats itself, right? Just like it did in 2000,
Sure.
2007 when Obama was elected. It's
Sure.
housing market was down. Now
Right.
the housing market is
Right.
back. It's
Right.
gonna. I tell women, you
Just
got to
hang
trust
around.
me because it's gonna do this again.
There
So
you
let's
go. That's
save
right.
some money and
It-
put it up. And get
What
get
goes
prepared.
around comes around.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to take a short break.
Great.
And can you tell our listeners how they can get hold of you if they wanted to know more?
Absolutely. My website is benefits with an S at the end .net. And my telephone number toll free is 1-877-271-9883.
Okay, thank you. And so do they talk to you, just you? Do you have
And they can
anybody?
email
Okay,
me.
so
They
it
can
is
email
just
me
you.
also at Carmen
Okay,
at benefits2go.net.
okay, great. All right, so this is the Women in Business Show, and I think I'm making Mark panic over there. This is the Women in Business Show on KWRH 92.9 FM and KXOK 102.9 FM.
Do you want to become a radio show host or do you want to create a radio show? Well, Dr. Stan Fine can help you to have your own radio show and put you on 100 cities daily across the U.S. And you can immediately start recording from a live radio studio. As a radio industry veteran, Dr. Stan Fine has 12 years of experience and has produced and hosted over 1,000 radio shows with over 10 million listeners. Dr. Stan Fine knows how to make this happen for you. He's a pro, and he can turn your dreams into a reality. Dr. Stan Fine will help you with everything from learning how to promote your show, develop a host persona, interview techniques, market your show on social media, teach you how to get guests and sponsors, and more. Dr. Stan Fine can put you on the air nationwide daily to 100 cities. If you're interested in making your dream come true, if you want to see how it all works, then give Dr. Stan Fine a call at 314-710-8413. That's 314-710-8413. You've got nothing to lose, and Dr. Stan Fine can help make your nationwide radio dreams come true.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our number one priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland. Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit publishingconceptsllc.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
If you're looking for a new informative health and lifestyle show to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully, then you need to listen to Sage Advice with Melissa. Now, whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from industry experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. Melissa's mission? to guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice to help improve your life. So be sure to tune in to Melissa. You'll be glad you did.
That's what I said. They're just okay. That's what I do.
Welcome back to part 2 of our show. If you're just now joining us, you are listening to the Women in Business Show. You can catch us locally every Sunday at noon on KWRH 92.9 FM and KXOK 102.9 FM, and streaming daily at 11 a.m. on MyGenre Radio and 2 p.m. through Zeno FM at zeno.fm/St. Louis. Today, we're talking with tax-free retirement strategist Carmen Hornberger, owner of Benefits to Go. And before we go any further, can you please tell us again how our listeners can contact you?
Absolutely, Diane. They can contact me toll free at 1-877-271-9883. Also, my email is Carmen@benefits with an S, just the word benefits, TOGO.net.
Okay, great. So we're seeing such a rise in inflation and it's hurting American families. Do these accounts help you hedge against inflation?
Absolutely. Again, when we were talking earlier about what kind of makes me different, what makes me different is that brokers do not teach indexing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They don't. So so basically what indexing is and what an index fund is it's a type of mutual fund whose holdings make up a certain type of the market index.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's what brokers don't teach. They don't teach their clients how to keep pace with the market and outpace inflation,
Okay.
but still stay away from market returns.
Okay.
Brokers don't, right? Obviously, because
Right.
they get paid off of 12B1 fees, whether your account makes money
Right.
or not.
Right.
Right. These
Right.
people are still making,
Mhm.
money and still making a living. I know because I used to be one.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So it's, it's not about the business. You have to understand the
Mhm.
business.
Right. So when somebody comes to you, because for instance, and we were talking during the break,
Mhm.
I was newly divorced.
Mhm.
I had no idea because obviously I hadn't handled the investments.
Mhm.
And I honestly didn't want anything to do with it.
Mhm.
And I just handed it over to someone
Mhm.
and just said, do
Manage
it
it
for
for
me.
me. Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And to the point where you could have just done anything to me but drag me into his office and sat down there and looked at all these pie
Mhm.
charts
Right.
and strategize.
Mhm.
And I just said, I don't care. Just,
Mhm.
do you have clients like that? Or do you kind of
Abso-
take them and twist their arm up the back and say,
Absolutely.
you're
There's
going to
a- mhm.
understand this or else?
Absolutely. There's a book that I read over 10 years ago. And anybody that wants to become a client of mine, I'll let you know the name of that book. but at any rate, the middle class solves all of their problems the exact same way that you just mentioned, Diane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure.
Which
Yeah.
is right?
Mhm.
Which is, the middle class.
Mhm.
We're the middle class. Our financial IQ, how we solve the lack of our financial IQ, the middle the middle and the upper middle class, is by one, going and getting more educated.
Mhm.
The middle class has more master's degrees than I think, of any, right, of any demographic, economic, whatever.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we know nothing.
Right.
Right. You are a beautiful, educated woman. You're, internationally raised, very, affluent. You come from a great background. You're married to, a husband that obviously had money, but yet and still
Yeah.
your financial IQ
Sure.
at that demographic
Mhm.
was to go pay someone
Mhm.
to manage your money.
Yeah, I think
Right.
it's because we're just taught
Mhm.
to look to seek
Mhm.
out experts, and so we figure if they're an expert,
Mhm.
then they
And
ought to know what they're doing.
And you know the downside of that
what's that?
is that we never learn.
True.
That was the same thing that happened to me.
True.
Money that was left to me, mother, and people think that you solve your money problems by getting more money.
Mhm. Yeah.
No,
Right.
you don't. All you do is just lose. You lose more. You
Right.
just lose more. You just lose more money. You don't gain any. You don't gain any financial knowledge on how to keep your income
Right.
and then how to make it passively.
Right.
So I give my women all types of tools and tricks and knowledge and
Okay.
things of that nature.
Okay. How many
So-
clients do you handle at one
Right.
time?
Oh, what at one time?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I usually have at least 35. Well, I can manage at least 30 to 35 appointments per week.
Okay.
But right now, I'm trying to segue and lighten my load and hire and train a lot of
Okay.
agents.
And then you'll
Mhm.
oversee them and
Absolutely.
train them to
Mhm.
the way in which that you've
Absolutely.
learned,
Mhm.
obviously, over
Mhm.
the years.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
Mhm.
So when did you start your company?
I started Benefits to Go at the latter part of 2015.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So you've been around for a
Mhm.
while then.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is the one I really wanted to ask you, is to
Mhm.
share a story
Mhm.
about a recent client and how you changed their future planning goals.
That's a good question. Obviously, it's been many stories, but one story that really sticks out is that there was a woman. She was in her early 40s. She had owned several successful businesses, but she was told that she could not get any type of life insurance at all. And so when she came to me, obviously she was. I'm trying to look for the words, right? I'm not a very tactful person, Diane. So let's just say she was not the best. She was not the best person to deal with.
Right.
She was not, a nice person, and it was. I had to kind of convince her, right, that I can help her. So basically, this woman had a surgery when she was 35, and unfortunately had to get carved out the left side of her brain.
Oh, wow.
She, miraculously, survived. She regained her memory back, but no insurance company would touch her.
Mm.
So not only was I able to get this woman over $4 million, worth of a benefit that she could secure out of that about $800,000 of tax-free income.
Mm.
It was that I think was my biggest triumph, because nobody could touch her. So now she was able to recoup, and she was never able to save for her retirement, in a non-taxable way, the way that she had wanted.
Right.
So now I was able to, so I think that was my highest grossing policy or account.
Wow.
I think she saved about $2,200 a month with me.
Oh, my. That's
And so I
great.
was able to, and so, yeah, if she stays on track for the next, because, she's only 41.
Mhm.
So if she stays on track until she's 58, she's going to recoup over $1.9 million worth of income.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have another client that you can tell us about?
Not any better than this one. but-
That's quite a story. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're funny. Yes.
So I guess what I was getting at is,
Mhm.
so she couldn't get the life insurance, but do you have someone that maybe
Mhm.
just
I have another
Okay, go
example
ahead.
because the other half of what I do is I help grow and secure people's retirement.
Mhm.
So there had been a gentleman that had responded to one of my ads or whatever. Obviously, I have a lot of outreach, and I get clients in a lot of ways. And he had responded to a ad. He had about $700,000 that he had saved with a company. He was a doctor, but he was not from the United States, and he had a employee plan. So a lot of attorneys and a lot of physicians actually have 401ks that are tied
Mhm.
tied to that particular ad,
Mhm.
and then they have outside things. And so he was not from this country, and let's just say he did not necessarily like dealing with women. Probably most definitely not African American women. God bless him. And so I was able to, just talk to him about the downside of the market, and just talk to him basically about how much of his income was he not willing to lose.
Mhm.
And he basically said, all of it. But what he did was he waited. and we had another market downturn. Right. And so by the time he called me back, and I tried to, talk to him, but by the time he called me back, he had lost another 130,000.
Oh my.
And so what happened was, his wife called me. His wife called me and begged me to talk back to the guy because he kind of
Sure.
kind of
Post
shut me
pride, I
down.
guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of shut me down a little bit. And so that success story was that I was able to
You
put him
were
into a
turning around?
long term.
Wow.
I was able to put him into a long term annuity with a 20% bonus.
Oh my. Wow.
And so, he rolled over, a little bit over 600, a little bit less than 600,000, 20% on top of that. So we were able to recoup,
Wow, that's
recoup
amazing.
some money. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
So how are you marketing yourself now? You said you
Hmm.
found people and clients.
The
all over
internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So social media.
Okay.
I do a lot of social media advertising. I actually have a LinkedIn campaign.
Really?
So I reach out to certain demographics of women based upon
Mhm.
like what it is exactly that I'm looking for,
Mhm.
and they respond, or I reach out. I do that. Obviously, my referrals.
Mhm.
My warm market is huge. Another thing that I do is I do a lot of speaking engagements
Mhm.
at women organizations wherever I can hop on, do a
Okay.
Zoom for a group of women,
Okay.
teach them about non-taxable
Okay.
investments.
Okay. So
do.
yeah,
Mhm.
women listeners out there,
Mhm.
if you're looking for a speaker,
Mhm.
I'm sure Carmen would be happy to come and speak to you.
Yes.
So with your speaking engagements
Mhm.
and your LinkedIn campaigns and
Mhm.
and how do you do Facebook? You do Facebook,
Yep.
yeah.
Mhm. Yep. I do
So
Facebook.
how do you find? I know that a lot of our listeners are interested in marketing, and so am I.
Mhm.
So how do the Facebook ads? Because we're always told the Facebook ads just don't work. So, but they work for you.
Well, it just depends upon the type of Facebook ad, right? So
Okay.
I don't do a lot of Facebook ads, but the ones that I do are specifically target to a certain type of income
Okay.
demographic,
Okay.
right? My buzzwords,
Mhm.
tax-free retirement planning,
Okay.
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so they're interested in that.
Right.
And so they click it because they just want to hear, they just want to hear more. It's a very, like I said, women aren't taught about indexing.
Right.
Not that men know so much about it, but
Right.
every woman that I've talked to, you would be surprised.
Hmm.
They've heard about the S&P 500.
Mhm.
They just don't know how it works.
Right.
And they've never invested in an indice
Mhm.
type model.
Right. Yeah,
And
I
so
think
that's what I do.
Most of my investments have been in mutual funds. So.
Absolutely.
And bonds.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
not the S&P.
Mhm.
So are women aware that they're underfunding their retirement? Do you think they know?
Absolutely not. They have absolutely no clue.
Mhm.
They actually think that, they're 55 years old and $360 a month every pay period is going to get them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
But I have tools, calculators, modules, effective planning, accounting tools that will be able to, show them not only how much income that they've deferred,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right.
that's the hook.
Right.
That's why I get up and do what I do, because the average woman is financially dependent upon Social Security by the
Mhm.
time she's 69.
Yeah, God forbid. Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
why and
Mhm.
and why is that?
Mhm.
Because by the time she's 65 or 64 and she becomes eligible for Medicare, that's usually the age that a woman starts to withdraw
Mhm.
from their retirement.
Right.
And what they're not aware of is the back end of all of that taxation is now due.
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
right. So you
Mhm.
picturing that? Because
Mhm.
I am.
Oh, I know. 'Cause I'm
Right. So
living
from
it, so-
and Mark's shaking his head.
Yeah.
So from 30, picture it. The
Yeah.
average woman starts, investing in a 401k, 29, 30, 31.
Mhm.
So all of that tax
Mhm.
is coming to eat her up, and it's coming due
Mhm.
at 64,
Sure.
65, 66. And
Right.
that's what we're not prepared for.
Wow.
So that's what my income calculator looks at. And then it also gives the woman a good adjustment as to how much fees
Mhm.
that she's paying inside this plan.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's not free, right?
No, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Yeah,
right,
that's right.
exactly. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when I talk to a woman, they're like, I had no idea they're charging me for my retirement. Of course, honey, this is a business.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fidelity and free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah.
just sending you for your, they're just mailing you your statement. But
Mhm.
then, and that logo, that stuff isn't free. They're charging you for that.
Yeah, and then when our 401ks go up, we think,
Uh-huh.
oh, look at
Oh, look
this.
at
Yeah,
that. No, no.
I
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
I know.
Mhm.
So I'm just curious, how do you? I mean, how do I put this? So people like me, who that's I'm sitting here realizing, whoa. So. How do you educate them? I mean, do you find a lot of pushback? I mean, do they say,
Absolutely.
"Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine."
Absolutely not. For a woman that that no shows me twice, I just pray for her. That's all I can do, because she has absolutely no clue, especially if she's not 50,
Mm.
even if she's 49. An extra $300 a month, if you can scrape it up, will still give you at least 260,
Mm.
$270,000 worth of tax-free income that you can use, at least, for 15 years.
So
So at least you
Yeah.
can count on that income, right? From 65 to 85
Right.
in some cases.
So you have to have 10 years, though, is what you said.
At least,
Right.
because you've got to give me
Yeah.
a second to help, to invest the money in the index,
Mhm.
and then we've got to get the index to start cranking,
Mhm. Right.
to start giving back the
Right.
compound growth. Yeah. So,
How do you know when the index is going up, going down? I mean, you don't have a crystal ball, so
well, it's as I said before, an index is a group of mutual funds that are tied to a group of holdings within the market.
okay.
So there's several hundred types of indexes. Okay. And just to kind of make it simple and to conserve on time, you asked me about education. So I educate my women on, first of all, the taxes and how the taxes work inside their qualified plan. Because
Mhm.
mind you, we got over, almost
Mhm.
400, million
Mhm.
people in this thing.
Right.
And then I I help them understand what indexing is. So we have several different types of indexes. So the index is based up off of different types of industries.
Mhm.
So healthcare, technology,
Right.
um, uh, uh, banking,
Mhm. Okay.
right?
I
So
get it. Yeah.
what I do is the stocks that are in that index already track
Mhm.
a certain, how can I say, they already track the steady flow of what the market is
Mhm.
already going to produce or give back in return, and then it gives you a floor,
Mhm.
right? So if the market doesn't get back 8%,
Mm.
right, and if the market is down, then you don't, right, and you've got 100,000 in your account, then you don't lose the 100,000, you just don't get the credit
Mhm.
for that following year,
Okay. Just
right,
kinda
because the
stays
market was down.
stagnant.
Mhm,
Yeah.
absolutely. Mhm.
Okay. I get it. So can you give us, was that your digest breakdown of different retirement vehicles and how a tax-free retirement plan would compare to that?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it's an index portfolio, but it's built inside of a life insurance company,
Okay.
which gives consistent returns.
Okay. And
Mhm.
you would sit down with your client and
Mhm.
you would say, I'm going to put X amount here, I'm going to put X amount there.
Mhm. I
Okay.
blend it.
Okay.
I would blend your cash
Mhm.
based upon the index that I thought
Okay.
was giving the most rate of return,
Okay.
or giving
Where
a
does
steady rate of
risk come
return.
in, though? Where does risk come in?
There is no risk in the index or in my particular accounts, because there's no taxation on growth
Okay.
or on principal,
Okay.
and there's no market losses.
Okay.
So that's the true guarantee of the index, right? Now, if the market is up 40%,
Right.
we're not going to get that
No.
40%.
Right.
My women won't get the 40%, but
Right.
what they want is they want a stabilized retirement that they can count on, or something that they can look up, right?
Mhm.
If the average rate of return of the S&P has been 9 or 10% for the past 50 years,
Mhm.
then that's pretty much what we can count on
Okay.
from the index.
And I do know, because I'm going through this myself, is
Mhm.
after 70, then you have to be pulling, or 72, is it? You have to
Tell me
be
about
pulling out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that relate to this as
Mhm.
well?
Yep. It doesn't relate to my accounts because there's no RMD effect.
Oh, okay.
So what you're talking about is the 10%
Right.
required minimum distribution,
Right.
which is all tied to qualified accounts.
Okay.
So let me just go over real quick what the type of qualified accounts are.
Okay.
So not only, women can be aware of it, but if you call me, then I'll be able to educate you on how to navigate and get out of that type of account. So we've got obviously self-directed IRAs,
Right.
401ks. It's the same term. They're just synonymous. A 401k is just only for a employee or person that is doing payroll withdrawals.
Right.
And so we've got 403B plans, 457 plans, 529 plans, and then the old KEEL plans, the Simple SEP and the SEP IRAs.
Right.
So those are the most common qualified plans
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so
that women are in. And so what you were just speaking of
Right.
is the required minimum distribution. So if a woman, I do believe it's 71 and a half or 72 and a
I
half.
think they're going to be putting it
Mhm.
up or something now.
Right,
or-
exactly.
yeah,
So
right,
if you don't take
right,
the required
Yeah.
10%
right.
from out of that qualified plan, let's just say, your balance is 100,000,
Mhm.
you're 71 and a half, you haven't pulled out your 10%,
Mhm.
they're going to tax you another 10%
Mhm.
on top of the 40
Right.
that they're already taxing you. on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't apply to the investments that you.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Mm-mm. Nope, there's no
Because-
contribution limits.
Okay.
Mhm.
So-
Because that's just how the account is structured.
Okay. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit? So,
Well, there's about 6 or 7 benefits to the plan, right? So one of them is that there's no market losses. The income that you put in the plan is guaranteed,
okay.
right? You're going to get compound market growth. You're not going to be taxed on. There's no taxation on the growth or on the principal. There's no contribution limit, like the Roth and like the 401k. So it allows for my women to get caught back up quickly.
Mhm.
There's no fees. You get a guaranteed death benefit. So let's just say, let's compare that to the 401k. Your 401k is tanking. It was 400,000. Now it's 2 or 100 and 130. And Lord forbid you die. By the time, right? Let's just keep it real. By the time I die, and there's a spouse, and then there's your children. By the time you get the form, I prove that you're dead. We fill out the benefit. I've done this. We fill out the beneficiary form, Mark. He's shaking his head. We fill out the beneficiary form. You mark it. Oh, it's got an error on it. You send it back to me. I send it back to Fidelity. By the time we get all that straight, and I've proved that I'm your wife and you were my husband and you're the beneficiary, now the market has gone down another 50,000.
Sure.
So that's what my accounts have. They not only have the growth and the protection, but it also comes with a guaranteed death benefit.
Wow. So actually, I would think it would benefit everybody to be
Right.
with you, right?
And that's another thing that the Roth doesn't have, right?
Mhm.
You're still experiencing the
Mhm.
tanking in the market.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter if you can pull, doesn't matter
Right.
if you started with $1 million. I mean,
Right.
you still got to grow that million to
Mhm.
whatever. If it tanks,
Mhm.
you're still left with nothing.
Right.
So the only benefit is pulling out the tax-free income, but it's got to be some income in there.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, they're true. Very true.
Exactly.
Very true.
Right.
Well, this is fascinating. So how would a person go about setting one of these up?
They would just call me.
Oh, okay. That's simple. Okay. But do they have to have a minimum amount?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm just being silly and facetious, but you would actually have to qualify for these accounts, right? The insurance company isn't going to give you $10 million or $1 million of guaranteed income if you're not healthy. So you have to qualify for the account. Once we get qualified and buy the blocks of the death benefit, right? The guaranteed interest rate or tax-free income is paid from that loan from the insurance company's account.
Okay. So the
Mhm.
loan comes from the insurance company.
Absolutely.
But I think you told us a story about where the one lady couldn't get insurance, but you found somebody that would give it. So
Mhm.
you have several
Mhm.
in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
That have
Special
different,
cases,
different
different
criteria.
needs. Yeah.
Okay.
This woman was a special case. Trust me, if she had been on 2 or more high blood pressure medications and diabetes,
Mhm.
along with the partial
Right. Okay.
they would not have covered her. But she
Okay.
was she was healthy.
Right.
She's 41. She had already had a
Right.
child. It's just she just had a horrible accident that happened to her. Luckily,
Right.
she lived.
Right.
Mhm.
So the money comes from the insurance companies. and then you sit down with the client
Mhm.
and walk me through this. So, and then you figure out what their lifestyle is, how much you're going to need, or do they tell you?
I go on I just go on a real brief, personal journey with my client, and I ask her specifically what her retirement goals are.
Okay.
Like what is she looking,
Right. Do you want to
obviously
travel?
ask
Do you
her
want
about,
to,
right, exactly.
Sure.
And we kind of, get into how much, she already has. It's a series of questions that I ask to
Okay.
try to get a big picture.
Right.
Because if she already has a head start, which is what some of my women do because they've worked somewhere
Mhm.
for 10 or 15
Right.
years before they've met me.
Right.
So, I can do some blending of what it is that they have
Okay.
now,
Okay.
and then kind of, dump that into, this plan and kind of give them a head start with some compound interest.
Okay.
Mhm. It's a lot of options,
Right.
but mainly the result is getting them into the program
Right.
and getting them qualified and
Right.
getting them on their way to, compound interest and tax deferred growth.
Okay. And how long does that take before they see results?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, 1 out of 4 of my ladies has to have a medical exam.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Mhm.
So I treat my ladies well. I pay for their medical exam and all
Wow.
that. A private nurse comes to their home.
Okay.
And so after we get that done, that whole process of getting approved and qualified takes about 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then so after that, after the account is open, again, it's a long-term account.
Mhm.
So, right, if a woman is, 40 and she's doing $500 a month, right, even if the compound interest is 6%, we need to kind of give it a few years,
Okay.
right? So I'd say by the 5th year,
Mhm.
she should see, right, if she needed 10 or 15,000
Okay.
after the 5th year, she should see substantial growth.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when they come to you and say they've got a pot of money and
Mhm.
then you get them the insurance money as well,
Mhm.
if they need it between then and the 5 years, then it's just kind of sitting there. Is that what you're saying? They couldn't touch it?
Absolutely. That's one of the benefits of my plan. So
Okay.
as soon as you start the plan, the compound
okay.
interest starts,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Because there's no losses
Okay.
in the account.
Right.
So if you were to need, right, so now you're 55 or 52 or whatever. So if you were to need an extra $8,000 or $10,000,
Mhm.
that year,
Okay.
you just pull it from out of your account, out of your net surrender
Okay.
balance.
Okay. So it's
Absolutely.
not locked up anyway.
Mhm.
For
Right. So just,
oops.
we okay? Okay, good. Yeah. So just kind of compare that to an IRA.
Okay.
Right? If we've been investing $1,000 a month from our payroll check or
Right.
$500 a month,
Right.
right? It should
Right.
grow or hopefully grow
Okay.
based upon the investments inside the 401k plan.
Mhm.
See, that's where the trick comes in at. So
Okay.
5 years of growth inside the IRA, it's all by chance.
Right, because
5
it's
years-
going up and down.
That's it.
Yeah, who knows?
5 years
Yeah.
of growth in my plan,
Mhm.
I can pretty much guarantee
Okay.
what you'll have.
Wow.
And if you needed some of that money, the only difference is that, right, you wouldn't be paying taxes on it.
Okay.
And then you wouldn't pay the fee for your company or to
Right.
your company for your
Right.
withdrawal.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, Carmen really knows what she's talking about. I think she.
Just a little bit.
Can you set this up for a husband and children? or-
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. When there's a husband and a wife involved, when they come see me, what I usually try to do is create at least a 6-figure tax-free income
Mhm.
for the household for 30 years.
Oh, wow.
That's my objective.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
So let's tell our listeners again how we can learn more about Benefits to Go.
Well, my website is obviously the word benefits with an S, TOGO .net. My phone number is 1-877-271-9883. Let me say that again, 1-877-271-9883. And my
Okay.
email is Carmen@benefitstogo.net.
Great. Thanks, Carmen. It's
Thank
been
you
a
for
pleasure
having me.
having you today. I've
Mhm.
learned an awful lot, let me
Mhm.
tell you. I could see myself in everything she was saying. So thank you for being my guest
Thank
today.
you so much.
And please reach out to Carmen to learn more about how she helps women at Benefits to Go. And to me, Diane at promoexperts.com for your promotional products needs. And also, if you're a women business owner and would like to be on the Women in Business show, please email me, Diane at promoexperts.com.
pollution, protecting our beautiful earth and air. Because pollution gives me a big pain and makes me want to throw up. Yes, throw up.
So just,
Oops.
we okay? Okay, good. Yeah, so just kind of compare that to a,
Oop.
And listen again Monday when once again I crush crime with one blow from my mighty fist.
And touch it.
absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the benefits.
Okay.
So if you were to need an extra 8 or 10,000
Oh,
out of your net
okay.
surrender
Okay,
balance.
Okay, so it's
Absolutely.
not locked up anywhere
Mhm.
for, okay.
Right. So just,
Oops.
we okay? Okay, good. Yeah, so just kind of compare that to a to an IRA,
Okay.
right? If